I want to give you some of the best advice a billionaire ever gave me that changed my life and my financial trajectory forever. Hey guys, Joel here. Today's going to be a little bit longer because it's a true story. So for those of you who don't know, of course I run an internet company. My name is Joel Therien. Nothing here to sell you today. Just want to give you some good advice. But anyway, my education is in cardiac rehab. Okay, so I don't know anything about computers. I do now a little bit, of course. I don't know anything about software development. I didn't know anything about the internet, so on and so forth. And today I run a multi-million-dollar software development company and internet marketing company. And even still today, I mean, of course I know the basics, but I can't develop, I can't build a website, none of that yet, so how do we do it? So I want to come back and tell you a story about my billionaire mentor. So here's the struggle I had, and I hope you listen to all of this. I knew from a very, very young age, probably the age of 11, that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And here's why. I'm gonna age myself, but I was downstairs playing Atari. Now, for you youngsters, you won't know what Atari is, but Atari was one of the first video game systems that came out. A little bit more advanced than Pong, where the ball went back and forth. Anyway, I was downstairs playing Atari. It was a Saturday. And my dad called my name. He said, "Hey, Joel, come here." And my dad was an entrepreneur. He owned a yellow page company. And so I went upstairs, and this was in 1983, because I was 11 years old, 49 now. Ugh. Anyway, came upstairs, and he pulled out like $2,800 out of his pocket cash in 1983. That's probably closer to like what, 5,000 or 6,000 today? And I was like, I was dumbfounded. I said, "Dad, where did you get that money?" And he said to me, he goes, "Oh, it was easy." Easy. I said, "Easy what?" He goes, "Yeah, I went out and I sold some ads in our yellow page directory." And even back then at age 11, I remember my best friend thinking, my best friend's mother has to work for over a month to get that money. And so I said, "Dad, how did you do it?" He goes, I went out and sold. And at that very moment, I was like, I want him to teach me how to do that. And I was spoiled, guys. I had dirt bikes, I had go-karts, I had anything and everything I wanted, which was really cool. Thank you, Dad, if you're watching this video. My dad's actually visiting Texas right now. I really appreciate that. But I was more interested in give me the skills, give me the knowledge to learn how to do that. That's what I want to know. Okay, go-karts, dirt bikes, lots of fun. I was good friends with a lot of people who wanted to ride those bikes, but I was more interested in how the hell does somebody in 1983 on a Saturday afternoon come home with $2,800? Now, it's not millions, but it was still enough for me to go, I know a lot of people have to work over a month for that money. So here began my major conflict in my life. My dad was the entrepreneur. My mom was the uber conservative. My mom grew up, and it really depends on where you grow up, on how you grow up, right? My mom was the uber conservative. She grew up in a military family. So in her mind, you got to play it safe. Get a good education, get a good job, and you'll be really successful, right? So to appease my mother, I went to college. I flunked out of college completely. And here's where my life changed forever. At the time of starting college, so we're fast forwarding many years now, I've always been in great shape. And so this doctor friend of mine said, "Hey, I have a very good friend who wants you to do his personal training at his home." And I was like, "Okay, who is it?" It's Dr. Michael Copeland. And in Ottawa, Canada, everybody knew who Dr. Copeland was. He was the founder of Corel.com. It's on your screen right now. Still a company that's active today. He's retired, but it was a multi-billion-dollar company. So here's the fun part. So I'm scared to death, right? And I remember thinking this very bad thought, because remember, beliefs in the eyes of the person who believes it, are facts, but a belief is not necessarily a fact. But I remember thinking on my way, I was driving in my little Eagle Vista. I remember thinking to myself, I don't care how much this rich prick pays me. If he's not nice to me, I'm not going to do his personal training. So I pull up to his house. It's 35,000 square feet, not 3,500, 35,000 square feet. In the laneway were like $4 million worth of cars. There was a Bentley, there was a Ferrari, there was a Lamborghini, there was a Porsche. I drive in with my little Eagle Vista going, holy shit, right? Like, wow. So anyway, knock on the door and I go into his personal training, and let me fast forward some more to get to the point, to the two things that changed my life and my trajectory forever. And Mr. Copeland, Dr. Copeland, Mike, he likes me to call him Mike now. Thank you for everything that you taught me, probably even unknowingly. So here's the two things that he taught me that were so important in my life. Number one, and I have to use this story as well, is stop talking and just do. So one day we were doing his personal training, and because of my big guns here, I was sponsored by a nutrition company for doing bodybuilding contests back then. I was, like 21 years old, whatever, I'm not sure. But anyway, that doesn't matter. So he was complaining to me that his development team, so he developed products like, and some of you will know this, especially if you're Canadian, WordPerfect, Corel Draw, and a few others. So Corel, when I was training him, was considered the largest competitor of Microsoft. Microsoft does Microsoft Word. He had something called Corel WordPerfect, which are editing software tools for whatever. Anyway, so doing his personal training, and we became really, really, really good friends. And so I remember, I would go there every Saturday and going, I'm working in this hospital. I did cardiac rehab in school. I can't go back to school now and learn computer science. Back then I was getting too old. And I felt really frustrated because I'm like, as a personal trainer, I'm never going to live the lifestyle that he's living. And so one day I asked him, coming back to our story, he was complaining about people, just getting really overweight. And so I said, just in passing, like it was literally a 10-second conversation. I said, oh, Mike, I'm sponsored by this nutrition company that does all my sports supplements for me. We could probably make a high protein snack that your developers can snack on rather than, them eating chips and cookies and really bad stuff for them. So they stop gaining weight and they'd be more productive. And as a side note, he was one of those CEOs, like most very successful CEOs, who understood that taking care of his body is going to create more productivity. So he wanted more productivity out of his development team. So here was the conversation. Oh, Mike, I know a company that can probably make a high protein snack and it'll help your developers and they can snack on that rather than chips, pops, and Coke. That was the end of the conversation. We finished the workout. He's like, wait, Joel, wait, hang on, Joel, wait, hang on. I'm like, okay. He comes back with a check for $25,000. Now, I understand that's not a lot of money to him, but I looked at that and I had never seen a check with 3 zeros on it in my name. And I said, Mike, what's this for? He goes, that high protein snack, is this enough money to get started? And I thought, we had a 5-second conversation. And of course, I didn't have a clue. I said, of course it is. So anyway, long story short, that was lesson number one, is he wasn't smarter than me. He wasn't better than me. He wasn't anything above my own intellect. He just, when he heard of a good idea, he just took immediate action on it. So it took him 5 seconds to hear that his development team could lose some weight. And because of that, he wanted me to get started on that product. Now, the sad part is he wanted to make a snack that was like kind of like a Hershey's Kiss size. You would unwrap it and put it in their mouth. Company couldn't do it, so I had to give them all the money back, which I did, which was really hard, but it was a valuable lesson for me. All of you have amazing ideas, and 99% of people talk about their great ideas every single day, but they never take action on them. That was number one. The second thing that I learned as we became more and more better friends, and I was self-loathing and I shouldn't have done cardiac rehab. I'm going to be a personal trainer the rest of my life. I'm never going to be a multi-millionaire, all that kind of stuff. Is I got the courage to ask him, I said, Mike, you know, running a multi-billion-dollar software company, I think they were doing like $4 billion a year back then. I said, Mike, running a software company like this, where did you get your computer science or your software degree? He goes, computer science? He goes, Joel, I don't know anything about computer science. My degree, because he was called Dr. Copeland, so I assumed he had a PhD in computer science or software engineering or something. He goes, my PhD is in civil engineering. And that blew my mind forever. Still does today a little bit. And I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no. He goes, I really saw the advantage of creating clip art so that, you know, actually let's not talk about that because I could go on forever and ever and ever. But he said, I had a good idea and I found the right people to implement that idea. So to you out there, if you have a good idea, but you lack the technical knowledge, just like I do, I still don't know how to build a web page. I still don't know a lot, but I run a software company. Now, we're not a multi-billion-dollar company, but yes, thankfully, it has made me millions and millions of dollars, about $280 million over the past 20 years. And so this is what you can do, is be resourceful. Doesn't mean you have to have all the knowledge here. You can go to Fiverr.com. You can go to Scriptlands. There's so many places, Upwork.com. There's so many places for very inexpensive. You can get people to implement your ideas for you. So that day, my life changed forever. And I'm pausing because it was an incredible pivot for me. And I quit my job. Now, because my mom was the uber conservative, I didn't tell her for 2 years. I quit my job and I started playing on the internet. So the two things that really changed my life forever from a billionaire, which I've talked about in this story. Number one is stop talking about your ideas, because you probably have amazing ideas, and start implementing them. And number two, most entrepreneurs lack the actual knowledge in their companies. What they do is they find the right people. Other examples, Richard Branson owns Virgin Airlines. Do you think he's an airline mechanic or do you think he's a pilot? Absolutely not. Now, there are exceptions out there like Elon Musk, who's so goddamn smart that he became his own space engineer and so forth. But the bulk of people find a good idea, find and seek out opportunity, and put the right people in place to implement their ideas. And again, you can do it for very inexpensive. Fiverr.com is a really good place to get started to help you implement your ideas. Now today, I have about 60 staff worldwide. I have great software developers. I have a great team in the Ukraine, even though there's a war going on there right now. I have an amazing team here in Texas, and I have another amazing team in India. And all those people, some of them have master's degrees, some of them have PhDs, some of them don't have any degrees but are self-taught. But those are the people that I come up with a great idea that I want implemented, and they do it for me. Again, I still don't know how to build a simple website. I still don't know or understand how the internet works wholeheartedly. And that's okay. So the education system preconditions us. It brainwashes us very much so. If you learn X, Y, and Z, then you can expect to make X, Y, or Z in salary. In other words, if you learn to become a mechanical engineer, then you can expect to make anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000 a year because of your expertise. The way an entrepreneur thinks is, I can make millions with this idea, this opportunity, so therefore, let me go find the right people to make it happen. So listen, folks, if you love these videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button. Please leave me a comment because it helps out with the algorithms on YouTube here, and I'll see you on the next video.